Hi students, this is Mr. Pransky, and I'm here at home on a snow day, much like you. And I thought I would give you something to kind of break out of your cabin fever, something you can do at home. So I'm going to show you a little bit of at-home science that you can do to learn a little bit about chemical reactions. So we're going to do a couple experiments. The first experiment is probably the most classic science experiment of all time, and that is mixing vinegar and baking soda, two pretty safe home chemicals that you can use. And when you mix them together, you create a chemical reaction, which it bubbles up. So let's talk about chemical reactions for a second. Chemical reactions are when you take two substances, you put them together, and you create a new substance. And that's what happens when we mix baking soda and vinegar. And you can tell you have a chemical reaction a couple ways, really more than a couple. One, it produces a gas like baking soda and vinegar does. Two, there's a temperature change. That'd be like something burning. It's an obvious temperature change. Color change or light. So you think about glow sticks. You crack a glow stick, you're really mixing two chemicals in the glow stick. It creates a chemical reaction that produces light. Many animals like fish that live in the darkest parts of the ocean and fireflies, they use chemical reactions in their body to create light. Okay, for this experiment we're going to be using these materials. We're going to use normal household white vinegar, baking soda, and then I have taken the baking soda and put it in a balloon because I think it makes it more fun to watch it create a gas. But you can just, if you want, just pour or spoon up baking soda and put it in vinegar. I also recommend you put it in some sort of a bottle or something like that. I have it in like a lemon bottle that I cleaned out. All right, so here we go. We take our baking soda. I've already filled this with a little bit of vinegar down at the bottom. Just for measurement purposes, I put about probably 2 or 3 teaspoons worth of baking soda in here. I'm going to put the balloon up on top, and then I'm going to... Wow, that did even more than I expected. Probably could have picked a bigger bottle. All right, so we were talking about chemical reactions create a gas. Chemical reactions also create temperature changes. So if you feel the bottle after it reacts like that, you're going to feel it feels kind of cold for a little bit. I can feel the air in here is really cold too. So let's talk about what gas is produced. This is part 2 of our experiment. When these two solids combine, they form a gas, or this liquid and the solid combine, it forms a gas called carbon dioxide. Okay, so part 2 of our experiment, we're going to use that carbon dioxide. Okay, it's time for part 2 of our at-home vinegar and baking soda experiment. All right, so this part, you need parent supervision. You're not to do this all by yourself without an adult supervising because it involves fire. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the results of our experiment. When you combine baking soda and vinegar, you create a gas called carbon dioxide. Now, something that's interesting about carbon dioxide is that carbon dioxide air is heavier than regular air. Okay, it's also invisible. So when we do this experiment and we create some carbon dioxide, we can actually kind of keep the carbon dioxide in our bottle. So I used a clear bottle here to sort of show you something, so you can see that I wasn't like pouring water on our candle things. So what I'm going to do first is add a little vinegar to our bottle. And I found out a little bit goes a long way in the last experiment, so I'm not going to put too much in there. Then I'm going to create a chemical reaction by adding some baking soda. I have about probably 3/4 of a teaspoon here. Okay, and as you can see, it is fizzing up pretty good there. So what's being created as a byproduct of this experiment is carbon dioxide gas. So in this container is still carbon dioxide gas. And carbon dioxide gas is heavier than regular air. All right, so you're going to learn something else here about fire. Fire needs a few elements for it to have its chemical reaction go on. it obviously needs heat, it needs fuel, but it also needs oxygen. So one of the most common ways to put out a fire is actually to suffocate the fire or take away the oxygen. So that's what we're going to do with our carbon dioxide here. We're going to make a little carbon dioxide fire extinguisher. So remember, I have invisible carbon dioxide in here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pour that invisible carbon dioxide onto our candle and see if I can put it out without even touching it. Okay, got it zoomed in a little bit, Rogan? All right, here we go. Watch that candle. We're pouring an invisible gas, and there it goes. All right, so that's a fun way to learn a little bit more about chemical reactions and the byproduct of two things mixing. All right, have fun with that.